Ah, sounds so good to me.
Two people take the vow to be together and live and love each other forever. They promise to love a lifetime. Funny thing, then they change their minds. They both go their separate ways. And love is just a memory, but a young heart doesn't stay sad long. Another love soon comes along. That's the way love is. That's the way love is. That's the way love is. Two people don't get along. Deep down in both have feelings very strong. They try hard to conceal it. Their hearts burn, cause they both know they can feel it. That's the way love is. That's the way love is. That's the way love is. Lovers leave without reason. Feelings change just like seasons. Love, nothing's the same. There's no use in pretending what's behind the curtain. Oh, stranger to the sea. But that's the way love is. I'm saying my love. I'm saying my love. I'm saying my love. 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 All of our
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Chat with Madamwhipass, and it is my birthday. Yes, it is, and I have had a wonderful day today. So now I'm just winding down and chilling. And I just feel like coming online and chit-chatting before I come back somewhere around 10 o'clock hour with at least chapter 3 reading of The Kept Ones by Bunny DeBarge. You know, things in life, nothing stays the same. Things change. And so now at work, hey, thank you, Jackie. It's going to be difficult for me to read at work at night because they have implemented some new things and things that I got to do every 30 minutes, and I don't think that's going to flow very well, but I'm going to try it. Maybe tomorrow night or whatever, but I'm off tonight because it's my birthday. It's my birthday. Yes, I am 56 years old. I know I sound really, really young, and I'm not really, really old. I'm just 56. I don't feel like I'm 56. I don't look like I'm 56. If I wasn't such a natural person, and I would dye my hair, you would know I was in my 50s. It's just my hair gives it away because, you know, I got gray. And I like my gray hair. I think it just accents it very well, and I won't color it. I've never colored my hair. Out of 56 years, I'll say intermittently, maybe 10 to 12 years, I might have had a relaxer or a jerry curl. You know, 2 years here, and maybe went 6 years natural and then permed it. for maybe 3 years or a year. But pretty much my whole life I've just been natural. And since 1999, I've been natural. I have decided to stay this way. No, it was before 99. I think 97. Yeah, since 97. So my gray hair gets my age away. And it's cool. And it's not really gray. I like to say it's silver because it is silver. Salt and pepper. But my hair is silver. When you relax your hair a lot and then your hair starts going gray, your gray ain't really gray. It'd be a funny yellow looking color. Nah, I don't have that. It's straight. It's a straight pretty silver. But anyway, I will be coming back to read tonight because I am home. So I'm going to try and do more than just the third chapter. Again, I'm just as anxious to read this book and know what's happening just like anybody else. And I refuse, as deep as my curiosity is, I refuse to read ahead because I'm going to have to go back and read it again and it just won't be authentic. It's just the way I feel. I'd rather discover new information and events, fresh, right along with you all. So, let's get into Rex Heuermann. So he was in court today. He was in court for about 10 minutes. He's a very big man. He's like 6'6" or 6'4" something. He's huge. He's not thin at all. He's not buff. He's just big. And he towers over just about any officer that escorts him. I understand that, when he stepped into the courtroom handcuffed in the front, I'll say a particular individual that was in the courtroom stated that, you kind of felt evil step in the courtroom when he appeared. And, I clearly can see that. As far as his wife and his 2 kids, they're just going through. She finally sent pictures of what the house looked like after the investigation. Trust me, it didn't look no better before the investigation. But there's just boxes all over the place because there was boxes there before the investigation. Only difference is that either some or all of the stuff that was in the boxes have been removed. They cut open the side of the tub, the paneling of the tub. They look like they cut out the bathroom floor. They cut up the couch. They took a backhoe and dug up the deck in the backyard. And I mean, really. And yes, they are hoarders according to reports. So you could say, well, the house is hoarded anyway, but that was their normal. That was their comfortability, That's what they used to. It might be hoarding to us, but to them, they probably knew where everything was at, where they needed it, when they needed it. And now they don't know where nothing's at, and they're left with cleaning up a mess, destroyed furniture, bathtub jacked up, bathroom floor jacked up. And that's only of what we know. I'm sure there's more stuff. I'm sure they put holes in the wall. I'm sure they dug up the floor in other places of the house. And, I sat and thought, if there was an investigation, they came and tore up my house, I'd be in tears. Because it's not like they put things back. It's not like they say, okay, we'll be back to patch up the hole in the wall that we banged out. No, they leave it just like that. And it's up to the homeowners. I don't know if homeowners insurance will cover that. These homeowners insurance companies are a trip, and that's a whole nother video. They charge you a whole bunch of money, and when you need them to fix things, they don't want to do nothing. They're always trying to wiggle their way out. So I don't recall seeing anything in any policy I ever had if they will cover police investigations will come up and rip down your house. I've never seen that. Never even heard of it. But I think they should cover something like that, don't you? Who knows? What else? They still holding him with these 3 murders, possible 4. The prosecution handed over to the defense 8 terabytes of computer information from what they derived from Rex's computer. And I would say several computers. I'm sure, you got computers that broke down and just been sitting around. You ain't used it in years because it just don't work. They took those things and trust me, they got it to work and they extracted information, evidence. So there's that. Oh, what else is going on? What else? Just gave them a whole bunch of information to defense, so they have to sift through and look at what the prosecution has against him. So, understand that you have these 4 bodies that HEUERMANN is charged with 3 of these 4, but understand these 4 were all wrapped in the same burlap. They was found generally in the same area. They were discovered in 2010. One of those 4 bodies had been there since 2007. The other 3 bodies had been there since like the fall, September, October of 2010. So you got Rex connected to at least those 4. There's still 7 other bodies that were found that some were pieces of bodies, where the rest of the body or the torso from a pair of legs that was found along, one was on Gilgo Beach, the other one was along like Jones Beach or whatever. But let's say there definitely was a pair of legs, I believe, that was found somewhere around where the 4 bodies were found. Well, those legs belong to a torso that was found back in like 2003 in Manorville. And then understand that the head and the hands were found like in 1996 in Hempstead State Park or something like that. So you safely say that this individual was murdered in somewhere around 96. Could have been 95, could have been 94, but discovered in 96, parts of it. And then another part found like 7 years later in Manorville. And then the legs to the same body found in 2011 on Gilgo Beach. And so people have had theories. Is it 1 serial killer? Could it be 2? I recently heard that these 4 bodies from Rex were dismembered as well. That's the first time I'm hearing it, that they were dismembered. I remember back in 2011, there was a lady that used to be on Fox. I can't remember her name. She was a heavy-set white lady with blonde hair. She had a husky voice. I forgot her name. But I distinctly remember her saying that these 4 bodies were de-fleshed. Quote unquote, de-fleshed. She didn't say dismembered. She said de-fleshed. So outside of that, of what I heard in 2011, I haven't heard anything else until yesterday. I think it was on News Nation. The DA had mentioned or agreed that these 4 bodies had been dismembered. So what are the chances of there being more than 1 serial killer? Because, for my safety and peace of mind, although I'm no longer in New York or having Long Island to be my stomping grounds as they once were, but for my mental well-being, I would prefer that it just be one serial killer that has been doing all these things. But if they can't connect the dots with Rex Heuermann and these other victims, well, that means there's at least two serial killers. And let's go and say three, because they recently caught John Bitroff, I think back in 2016 or something. They had found at least three sex workers dead, murdered. He's been charged with two of them, and he lived in Manorville. And so they believe he's responsible for more, at least 15. But they can only get him on two. He was sentenced in 2017. So you figure there had been at least two, Rex Heuermann and John Bitroff. Now, if they can't connect John Bitroff to any of the other victims, nor can they connect Rex Heuermann, that means that there is another serial killer out there. Now, if there are 2, 3, or 4 serial killers operating and dumping bodies in the same area and dismembering folks, I really wouldn't be surprised, because it's Long Island. And I've told you before, yes, he is Jackie, serial killer in New York. And I told you before, I can't explain it. You'd have to experience it yourself. People from Long Island are very strange. If you've ever worked with people who live on Long Island, whether you lived out there yourself and worked out on Long Island, or you worked out on Long Island, or you worked in Queens and you worked with Long Islanders who worked in Queens, or even in Manhattan. Anybody, most people I believe, will say, you know what? You're right, they are kind of strange. So to have several serial killers operating and utilizing a particular area for their dumping grounds really wouldn't be a big surprise to me. And then, if you're born and raised wherever you are, and think about it, if you had to dump a body wherever you live, whatever state, whatever town, I'm sure you could think of some place that would be a good spot. Not that you would think of these things at all, period. But I'm just saying. And I'm saying that because, yeah, you'd have to have lived on Long Island a very long time to know where to dump these bodies along Gilgo Beach and in Manorville. And Manorville is a place, an area where a lot of people go hunting. Now, Rex Heuermann is a hunter. I hear he hunts ducks and he hunts bears. I'll never recall any bears on Long Island. Whatever, you can go upstate and hunt bears or whatever. But he was born and raised, his whole 59 years, he has lived in the very same house for the whole 59 years of his life. He knows Long Island like the back of his hand. Just like if you lived wherever you live your whole life, you know your area like the back of your hand. So there's a debate going on in the true crime world whether or not he used a boat, because his house is pretty much right across the bay from Gilgo Beach. And I'm saying, you people don't live on Long Island. It would be so stupid to take a boat across the bay to go dump some bodies. Now, I don't know. I'm just thinking back to Scott Peterson in California in the Bay, and he went and got the boat. You gotta pay to park, and so you're getting a ticket, a time-stamped ticket. It would just seem to be too much trouble. It's so much easier to drive 20 minutes to that desolate area on Ocean Parkway and just pull out a body and just drag it into the marsh. And him with his big strong self, and these were little things, and I'm sure that's why he picked these women were like 4 feet 11, 5 feet, little short petite women. And of course he sized them up that way, because even though they might have been 125 pounds, a person that is dead at 125 pounds is freaking heavy. Let me tell you. It's that dead weight. So for him, picking up a body like that is nothing much easier, to wrap in this burlap and whatever he did and dump them. Now, if indeed they had been dismembered, where did he do this at? Did he do it in his house in Massapequa? Every time he murdered these particular 4 women, his wife, if you do not know, in case you don't know, had been out of the country with the children. His wife is from Iceland or something. So that's when he committed at least these 4 murders. So if indeed they were dismembered, well, did he do it in the house of Massapequa? Time will tell in terms of the evidence that was gathered. But to dismember somebody, first of all, no matter how little they are, petite, it's still a nasty, messy job. I mean, I would think you have to prepare. When you have somebody come and paint your house, they do the taping and they put plastic over the furniture. There's some preparation, I would think, if you don't want to get caught, if you trying not to leave any DNA and evidence behind, you would do some preparation. And then, it's just not an easy thing to do, to dismember somebody. That's a lot of freaking work. And most of the other bodies that were found, a lot of them have been dismembered. Now, if Rex Heuermann was involved in all of those cases, all of those dismemberments, and if you go back to 1996, shoot, he could have been in his early 30s or so. All right, so he had, part of being in his prime and the strength and all of that, but trying to dismember somebody in your 40s and 50s, ain't nobody got time for that. So I can see why he did it a different way. Wrap them in burlap, and it's like camouflage burlap, so it blends in with the marsh and the vegetation or whatever that's already there. And so I said all that to say, because there's a theory from the profile is that, these type of people don't change what they do. If they're going to dismember, they're always going to dismember. But I'm inclined to think that, people would tend to do things differently as they get older. Who knows? Maybe he got arthritis in his hand. He can't dismember nobody anymore. So he has to do things a different way. At 59, it's possible he can have arthritis. And maybe he got back pain. Anything can happen. So yes, they would change eventually how they do things. But hey, what do I know? So, could it be, dismembering is not necessarily his motivation to just hide evidence or to keep the victims from being identified? Maybe dismembering is his thing. Maybe that's something that he got off on. He definitely got off on watching a woman in pain. And did he dismember them while they were still alive? Probably so. Probably so. But these are just some of the questions I have, and only time will tell. Only time will tell. I'm anxious to find out what all evidence that they have pulled out of that house. Did they find any DNA connected to any of the other victims? I just want to know. I just want to know. And the information ain't coming out fast enough for me. It really isn't. And so I just want to say, you just never know who your neighbors are. You know, you never know what's going through somebody's mind as they are conversing with you. You just never know. I don't mean to frighten you or anything, but please understand, as you can see, there are monsters. And they could be a relative, God forbid. They could be a neighbor, could be a co-worker. Monsters do exist. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. Please do not ever teach your children that there are no such thing as monsters. That is the most detrimental lie you could tell a child. Because there is a such thing as monsters. And monsters look human, just like you and me. Understand it. Rex HEUERMANN is a monster. You can look at his mugshot, and I just envision what his face really looked like as he was about to murder these women. I know they thought he was a monster in that very moment. So, be careful. There's monsters running out here in these YouTube streets. Yes, there are. And what's frightening to me is I watch people embrace monsters out here in these YouTube streets. Most people are endeared to the YouTube street monster. And they have no idea. They're so enamored by the charm and all this good stuff. But it's just a mask. Underneath that mask, that individual is a straight monster. I know what I'm talking about. A highly manipulative monster. A sick monster. A sociopathic monster. But he shows you that side that wants to engage you and just massage your thoughts and your mind into thinking, oh, this is a cool guy. He's cool. Y'all have no idea. That's a freaking monster. But it is what it is. I just decided to go in a different direction, and I have made my attempt to warn individuals, and if they don't take heed, they just don't take heed. And it's not that I don't care or I'm not concerned, because I do care. But you can lead a horse to the water, but you can't make him drink it. I did my part, so I shall go to sleep at night very well. But sometimes you gotta let people find out for themselves. And Well, no, I ain't even gonna say that. I'm not even gonna go there. But anyway, this is about a different monster, Rex HEUERMANN. So, yeah, I will continue to stay on top of this story. The next court hearing is September 27th. It's just all this preliminary stuff. We're not even near even to the point of a jury selection. I can't wait for that. New York doesn't have cameras in the courtroom. The trial won't be televised. That sucks. We'll have to depend on the news reporters and journalists and the sketch person who sits there and sketches people in the courtroom. That's all we'll ever get out of this trial. But I'm anxious to hear about the evidence more in depth, and it just can't move fast enough for me. But this is going to be a long journey, and I'll continue to pray that they can connect him to the rest of the victims all along Ocean Parkway and in Manorville and Hempstead State Park and Fire Island and even Atlantic City. Hopefully he's connected to all of those so people can rest easy, because if not, I wouldn't be able to rest easy at all, because that means there's probably 2 or 3 active serial killers on Long Island alone, and that should be frightening, don't you think? I think. Alright, let me go and do some things so I can get back in about an hour to do the reading. And by the way, if you remember in Tommy DeBarge's book, They'll Never Be, the woman that he married in the book, her name was April. She actually came on into my comment section, one of those chapters, and revealed herself. She said, April is a fictitious name in the book, but she introduced herself as being that individual. And she just said he was a good man, and he just had a lot of demons from his past. So I just thought that was pretty cool. I hope she's enjoying the reading. I want to say she came in on the video that starts with chapter 9 or maybe 16. One of those videos. She's in the comments section. Yeah, well, rest in peace, Tommy DeBarge. Yeah, she said he was a good man. Okay. I mean, hey, I like Tommy. I appreciate his book, but how good of a man can you be if you're strung out on drugs? You know what I mean? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Oh, Lord. Anyway, I'm going to go now, and I'll be back shortly. Thank you for tuning in and hanging out with me. Hey, in honor of my birthday, if you'd like to Cash App Madamwhipass on the $sign right there, I greatly appreciate it. It will continue to go to the Jumanji and Diva Stainless Steel Birdcage Fund. Yeah, I'm taking my time. Their cage that they have now is really nothing wrong with it. It's just that I'd rather have a stainless steel for them, and I think they'd appreciate it more as well, because it's just much more easier to clean a stainless steel. Alrighty, so all donations will be greatly appreciated. Thank you again, and I'll be back shortly. Peace. Thank you for stopping by, Jackie. Bye.